Hey guys, it's here bringing you another video and welcome back to another episode of Climb to Master, but obviously in a slightly different format. Yes, we are doing a replay episode. The reason being is I was a bit of a pleb that you'll see how this game is generally going. I was a bit stressed with today's play session, and I will say I am actually recording this replay after I actually played it about an hour ago. I'll say why in a second. But I annoyingly, I got to get used to this new mixer that I've got over here. Even if a game isn't going quite right, I should still record. Because again, with playing music and everything, I can completely wipe out that music audio track with this new Go XLR. And I can have it as a POV commentary like you guys would never have known there would be music on. But I stopped the recording halfway through. So just to explain, this was the same play session that you guys would have been seeing the videos recently of. We had the start to it was getting demoted of having that troll Nami, and then weirdly the next game having the AFKing Ari against me, and then you guys didn't see a game after that. We had an inting Jace. He didn't start inting in the match, then he got mega tilted, and then he actually started inting. I think he died 14 times by the end of the game. So it was a very weird day. Just to set the tone of where we are, so we are currently in playing this match, I believe around 92 LP in Diamond 3. So my goal, what I really wanted, and you know, I think I explained it in a few videos ago, but the bounce of rating, I wanted to like get demoted, obviously not want to get demoted, but I got demoted, and I wanted in the same stream, if we could, to try and get back to Diamond 2. Silas with his first engage does quite a lot of damage, which is like, obviously Silas is a scary champion, weirdly underplayed. Now I did say something that, like, the more you think about it, I think the more people in my stream were like, actually that does actually sound kind of weirdly accurate in a way. There are two champions that, well, there are two champions I think are kind of joined, but one's AP, one is AD. Silas is the AP version of Aurelia. Genuinely, like, the more I thought about it, I was like, genuinely that is true. He doesn't need to actually land a lot of his spells, but he'll end up killing you anyway. But if he does land his spells, you basically get one shot. You're like, what just happened? And yeah, well, I would put them in a very similar category to each other. Just one is AD, one is AP. Let me know what you think of that in the comment section below. But the game itself, just to explain, they have a Zillion. The game before this would have been a POV commentary, and we were against a Zillion mid. You guys saw how that probably went. He did no damage and didn't really help the game overall. I still find Zillion mid a bit weird. I think Zillion in support is great in modern day League. You do the exact job. Meanwhile, again, my bot lane died, by the way. And for some reason, the Caitlyn's got double summoners. She decides to let overstay here. She gets bombed, autoed, and then she ends up dead too. So I don't know why she like overstayed that. She just, you know, I'm 2v1. I'm going to back off, let them push the wave. But unfortunately, she didn't do that. We have got Garen. So I will say this video might be a little bit out of date. I'm recording this on the day that the patch notes will be released, and the patch day will be tomorrow. But I've literally got 10 live commentaries right now ahead of time. Meanwhile, I hit a nice little combo on the Silas. He's still going forward. He fails a really bad flash that was never going to work. Enemy team, though, is circulating. So Garen flashed ignited. Silas flashed. We've now got Urgot on his way here. I'm going to end up helping the Garen get that kill. I'm going to get that kill on the Garen, sorry. I'm going to continue going forward, land that auto attack, flash over the barrel so I don't get slowed, just constantly getting these autos in, with then finishing off the kill with that Q. So ends up with the double kill, which is always nice. Farm-wise, obviously not doing so hot at the moment, but I can return to mid where there is actually a lot of minions. So most of the difference in mid lane right now is right there. I will hopefully catch up a decent amount right now. But obviously getting that double kill is clearly a big advantage, because 1300 to 1700, that's giving me a 400 gold lead with still being like 10 minions behind. So overall, still really good. But what I want to do also, by the way, guys, is a question of the day. I like to ask it maybe every 2 weeks or so. But considering like this was a bit of an intense game, meanwhile, nice kill in bot lane, and they get another one. It's a counter gank situation that Gragas is ganking in bot lane and it's getting countered. How is the season going for you? How is your ranked adventure, or do you not play ranked? Let me know. But yeah, do let me know how it's going. I'd say overall my ranked adventure, it's stressful, don't get me wrong. Like for League, it's just that type of game. But I'm actually pretty overall still quite happy with how my climb is going. We've still maintained over a 50% win rate. Compare that to last season on the Huzzy account, where I didn't even get in the early season into Diamond. We've obviously been in Diamond 2, and then earlier in this play session we got demoted. This game is if we get promoted back into Diamond 2. So already this season on the main Huzzy account is going way better. And I'm actually, which is, I'd say, a really nice thing to say, I'm really happy with how I'm playing. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. There's improvement that is obvious improvement that could be there, and that a lot of the time is still like my farm. Even though I do feel like I've got better with farming, it's still definitely an area that is my weakness, and I'm probably missing 1,000, 2,000 gold at least a game by just not farming great. And that's an easy area where you could improve on, is just farm better. I have started to farm better, but still room for improvement. So right now I'm actually trying to bait on purpose, and annoyingly I was baiting that on purpose, going forward, getting hit by the Q, and then Kindred just walks forward and kind of ruins it. I think he was literally about to commit for the fight. I have barrier up, I would have probably been okay, and we knew Sylas didn't have flash. So unfortunately, I think Kindred just was a bit too panicky there and didn't let that kill happen, unfortunately, but it's okay. So not too far behind on farm, going back with the first time with using my big gold advantage, or gold that we got from the double kill. And yeah, we get Lost Chapter. That's wonderful as a mid lane mage. We've also hit level 6 at an okay time, to be honest. Unfortunately, top lane, he does get ganked by a Gragas. Worth knowing, I have said this quite a few times, the Gragas on the enemy team, again, this game is very clear in my mind, because again, I played this as the last game of today's play session. He goes full AP Gragas. I still don't rate AP Gragas in jungle that highly. I was like, I don't dislike AP Gragas. I actually miss when Great Gragas was an AP mid laner. I just think that, like, if you're wanting to play Gragas, I would focus more on displacement than burst. And that's more bruisery AP for me than pure full AP squish. And that's what this Gragas does. He does, like, kind of a big squishy build. Which, again, it can do okay damage, but it also can get one shot very easily. So, let me know what you think about that too. But anyway, Sylas is not basing. He does go ignite this guy, by the way. Some Sylases, I don't know what the percentage is, but like in my mind, most Sylases end up going TP. Meanwhile, big play happening in top. They're having a bit of a fight. Got ulti. I go for an ult myself, by the way. He just levels up with Triumph there. And, gets Triumph, sorry, doesn't level up. And he will survive. Nice kill, though. 1v1. Gets the kill on Urgot. I was trying to get an assist in that situation. And yeah, Urgot killed him just before I could have hit anything. But as I said right at the beginning, I forgot to finish the point. This video is probably a little bit out of date, potentially. You will see both top laners build Hullbreaker first item. That is just the weird meta that top lane is at the moment. Including ranged champions are buying Hullbreaker. I believe the patch that has just happened would have been a few days ago of you watching this video. They have nerfed, 100% nerfed ranged Hullbreaker at least. They might even, I don't know if there's any more nerfs to that, but it's at least ranged Hullbreaker nerfs. So someone like Urgot probably isn't buying Hullbreaker anymore, or Gnar isn't buying Hullbreaker anymore. Weirdly, we've seen the rise of AD Nico has started to become a thing because of Hullbreaker. So it's a very weird meta we're in right now. Anyway, we end up getting the dragon, which is nice. If you guys didn't notice, Caitlyn did get a kill on Jhin just before that all was happening. Unfortunately for, well, their team, I honestly think Gragas went over to the dragon with Zilean. Jhin overstayed and ended up getting caught by the Caitlyn at low health and then ended up dying, and that just ruins the dragon opportunity for the blue team. So as you can see right now, we are near enough. Yeah, we're 1,000 or so gold ahead, which is good. I get the cannon with an auto attack there. That's always nice. But yeah, we're a little bit of gold ahead. Scaling wise, both teams actually scale quite well. The one thing that I always was thinking in this game myself of the Xerath pick, why do I like Xerath? The reason, and I'll literally say, I did blind pick mid lane. I didn't know I was against a Sylas. But the reason I picked Xerath this game was for one champion on the enemy team, Jhin. I legitimately only picked a nice stun there with the big boom damage. Honestly, thought Seraphine could have ulted that. We might have been able to get the kill within ulting myself, but she doesn't go for the ult. But yeah, I basically picked Xerath blind because I knew the enemy team had a Jhin. You will see the interaction this game. It's a very standard basic interaction. Meanwhile, I'm getting ganked by Gragas. Just flash out the way so he can't really do anything there. But basically, when Jhin is ulting, he's stationary. Obviously, he's standing still doing the curtain call. I can absolutely annihilate a Jhin with my ult. Meanwhile, Seraphine's overstaying. I end up getting the kill, and then that also ruins the kill opportunity for them on Seraphine, because I think Zilean could have killed Seraphine, but he left it for the Jhin to finish the kill, and then I killed Jhin before Jhin finished off Seraphine. So that was a nice little kill there. Makes us 3-0 at the moment. Would have been nice if I got the double kill, but obviously Zilean did flash away. Getting ganked again by the Gragas, a little bit of impatience here, and as you can see, really weird ulti. A little bit of tilt maybe creeping in. Like, I'm doing pretty well as Xerath. They might want to, like, slow me down, and a good way of slowing down an opponent is killing them. So, overall, pretty good play is happening. Comp-wise, again, talking about scaling, not just about the Jhin thing. If you look at the enemy team, they are all, apart from Jhin, which we've mentioned, I can counter him anyway with my ulti when he's ulting. I outrange the whole enemy team. I actually outrange a Jhin. So Garen is melee. Gragas is like short range, obviously. Sylas is melee. Zillion's kind of low range. So I always knew when I was going to be playing this match, I could potentially end up with like a lot of damage done and like blasting over the top. Do end up helping that kill. I think Kindred was going to be close to dying in that situation, so I don't think she would have minded me getting the kill. And that was basically, Kindred was looking for a gank. She comes this way. Garen goes all in. Urgot didn't expect it. He gets killed. And then Garen runs into our jungle because he had nowhere else to go. But yeah, I'm 4-0. Gold-wise, I've got 4.5k gold. I'm over 1,000 gold ahead of my Sylas. The majority of the gold lead that you're seeing, we're about 2,000 or so gold ahead. 1,000 of that is just me alone. So overall, not bad at all so far this game. You can see I'm starting to absolutely annihilate this Sylas, and this is, again, the big range advantage that Xerath has got in certain matchups. But the hilarious thing, if this guy, unfortunately I missed the stun, he steals Kindred ult and uses Kindred ult. And meanwhile, Kindred should be expecting this. She doesn't, and she doesn't ult. One thing you will notice a couple times this game is Kindred was pretty bad with ulting. She just doesn't press it. It was really weird. You know, it's a pretty standard thing to do Kindred ulti when you're playing Kindred. And it's like the equivalent when Trindamirs don't press R. And, you know, sometimes you could say, oh, she was CC'd. A lot of the time she could have used it, and she just doesn't. She just didn't quite have that reaction time to use the ulti at the right time sometimes. So, yeah. Anyway, if you look at top lane, one Hull Breaker has now been complete, and the other one isn't too far away. I do hope that they do fix that. Like, I do remember, I was thinking about this last night, actually. I'm not a fan of the Hull Breaker item. If you guys remember when they actually announced this item, I legitimately remember saying it could get to a stage of being picked every game, because that's what top lane is. Top lane is then the island lane. So giving a more individual strength item on the island lane is, you know, that legit could be picked every game. And it did take a while. Like, you know, Hullbreaker wasn't that popular on release. Like, it really wasn't. For whatever reason, now it's really popular. I do think, again, someone told me. Meanwhile, they are having a big fight in bot lane, by the way. Both of my bot laners die. Kindred's trying to 3v1. She, by the way, has ultimate available, and she just doesn't press ult again. She could have pressed ulti, and both Jhin and Zillion were not in the range of it, and they could have ended up with a kill or two. Again, just doesn't press it at the right time. It's really weird. You can see it, which I couldn't see, obviously, in the game. Zillion is pinging, oh, Xerath ultimate. We've got to be careful here. So they actually back off, I guess, for that reason. I'm hovering around, like, are they doing dragon? I want to go check it. And lo and behold, yes, they are. And just to say, this guy, this Sylas hasn't really engaged on me this whole game. His first time that he engages on me, I'm dead. Like, literally the first time that he manages to get on me this game, I basically get one comboed and I'm just out of there. That's the thing. So you can see me in mid lane absolutely annihilate him from range. That's the unfortunate thing. It's like the cat and mouse. I can poke him down. I've got the range advantage. But if you get on me once, I'm dead. And that, I'd say, is a very similar thing to why I've compared him to Aurelia. It's the same thing. If Aurelia gets on top of you, you're dead. If Sylas gets on top of you, you're dead. Meanwhile, fighting top lane, Urgot just missing out on that. And Seraphine is dead again. Seraphine is unfortunately 1-4. Urgot is 1-3. Caitlyn's overstaying by herself after having a Seraphine that's already dead. She gets stunned, and that's going to be a free kill for the Jhin. So, not going too hot this game. Kindred looking for the Sylas kill. She finally ulted this time, so that's good. I'm ulting over the top, trying to help out, and unfortunately I just missed that shot, and we don't get the kill, but at least this time Kindred ultied. So I think 2 of her deaths so far this game. Meanwhile, he literally wasn't expecting that at all. I don't even think, to be honest, he was expecting that to latch. So we actually end up getting that kill, or Kindred does. And we get mid lane tower, which isn't too bad. But yeah, that's the kind of funny thing. Sylas nearly got that Kindred kill, but even I think he was surprised that his E latched in time. But yeah, bit of a fiesta game so far. The enemy team, by the way, has officially taken the gold lead. So we were 2,000 gold ahead. The enemy team now is over 1,000 gold ahead. They're like 1,500 gold ahead. And where is that advantage? Well, that's top lane. The Urgot's died a bit. That's bot lane, with Seraphine dying 4 times. Farm-wise, again, I'm a little bit behind, but other than that, it's pretty even. And I'm, you know, I'm ahead in gold still, like 5,500, 6,100. So I'm actually still ahead in gold. But everybody else on my team is probably just slightly behind, and that's what's making the big difference. So top lane gank, looking for the Garen. Unfortunately, miscommunication. Kindred just needed to auto-attack a couple more times with Urgot ulti, and they would have ended up with that kill, but Kindred stops attacking at the wrong time. I'm now mid lane chilling. We've got Seraphine here for some reason. Gragas is now top lane, which was pretty obvious to expect, and now another kill. I will say, I get killed there. Let me just show that, because again, this I would say is the moment that I think from memory I stopped recording this game. So I'm looking top lane. I think I even verbalized say Gragas is going to be top. So I'm not even moving. I get completely caught out, 100% hand, you know, hold up my hands. I nearly killed the Xerath, you know, sorry, the Zilean, surprisingly. But yeah, I wasn't maybe expecting 3 mid, but I shouldn't have been not paying attention. That was a bad death. But yeah. Because I will say one of my weaknesses, which an audience member I will say did point out during this game, just probably not the most useful thing to point out when you're playing live and slightly tilted probably from the games that we've had today. One of my weaknesses as a player, I will concede, is I do sometimes focus on my teammates a bit too much. They do let me, like, they will get my head down. I'll be like feeling a bit bad by the quality of teammates, and that does sometimes affect my own play. It does happen. The thing is, it probably happens to, God, 95% of League players. Even if you don't think, like, 100% it does, you are affected by your teammates. That's just the nature of League of Legends nowadays. But yeah. Anyway, don't mind me. I'm just having a bit of coffee. Again, the mug that I'm using, just to show, I got this mug a few years ago. Pokemon Center London. That was pre-pandemic world, not by long. I think only a few months pre-pandemic potentially. And yeah, I went to the Pokemon Center that was in London. It was really good. So I'm ulting. I get the kill on Sylas there myself. Kindred doesn't die. She ults then at good timing, so thank God. Caitlyn trap on top of the Gragas, and he will go down. So that was a good situation. I don't know if you caught it, but as Gragas was trying to make his way into the gank, I actually nailed him with 2 ulties, and he was half health when he was literally walking in. Now, unfortunately here, the Kindred gets a little bit greedy. We go for the red buff. Jhin gets it anyway, and now the Jhin, she doesn't dodge the W, and the Kindred's dead. So again, a little bit of greed overstaying for that red, I guess, but I think she could have overstayed for it, but she didn't get the red. She mistimed it auto, and also she got hit by the W of Jhin that she probably could have dodged. So 2 things there quite bad that the Kindred did, but I guess it happens. Dragon is spawning. You see I'm pinging it. As you guys know, I'm a very dragon-centric player. I do value dragons quite highly, and honestly, it does seem to be more of an EU West thing. That what Koreans have always said, apparently, is when they're over here for solo queue, whether it be for an MSI or Worlds or whatever, they've always said that the EU West solo queue players are very dragon-centric. So that's just the way that we play. That's not just me. I think that is just EU West. To me, it's a no-brainer. Why would I want to give the enemy team free strength that I can't get? I want all the strength possible. So to me, that's why. Anyway, dragon fight. The dragon dance is on. I've actually forgotten to put on objective timers. Sorry about that, everybody. So above the minimap, you now have the timers. So the dragon is now alive. And here we go. Potential big fight. Half health of Zilean with 1 Q. Always nice. I am getting Zilean bomb, but I want to move forward. Sylas steals Urgot ulti of all things. I'm ulting over the top just to create chaos. Nice landing on that. We do get a bit more damage. Urgot doesn't get the kill. We've got an engage from the side of Gragas and Garen at the same time. If they don't get a kill, though, they're in trouble probably fairly early. Sylas gets ulted by Seraphine, but also manages to get the latch somehow. Garen walks onto a trap that was being disguised by a ward. And then the Gragas is on the back foot. Urgot's trying to ult to try and get... sorry, the Jhin was ulting. Urgot does protect us, if you will. I do end up getting the Garen, by the way. I just chase him down, get a shutdown. And now the fight continues. I flashed, and I actually thought I might have been able to get a double kill on that Q, I remember thinking. Weirdly, I think they just ran out of that bush. I saw 2 people enter that bush, or 3 people enter that bush, and I didn't end up with anything. So I was like, But we got what we wanted. Kindred being quite aggressive with her play, bumps into a Gragas, but luckily he was quite low. And as I mentioned earlier, look at the Gragas build, by the way. It's so ridiculously squishy. And like, to me, you have enough damage in your comp to not warrant full AP Gragas. You've got a Silas who does a lot of damage. You've got a Jhin who does a lot of damage. Even Zilean does some damage. Garen as tanky stuff does damage. To me, you need survivability more than full AP, is what I would say. I think they could potentially beat us in a fight if they don't just get bursted by us. Because, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just not a big fan of AP burst Gragas, apparently. Returning to mid lane. So this is the part of the game that I will say I do sometimes struggle with. Of like when my AD carry wants to come mid lane. So Silas is just running down, or trying to run down the Kindred. I know Gragas is coming here, by the way, so I did move a little bit preemptively. I barrier, boom, he's squishy, he gets killed. Big fight continuing though. So it's right now, I think, a 1-for-1 trade. So both junglers have died. That's literally been the trade. We don't have Urgot. I don't know where he was, but I also don't really know where Garen was either, so I don't think either top laner was massively involved. We do have a Seraphine, who again isn't the best healing support, but she does slowly heal you with the double W occasionally, and now the fight can continue. So Urgot has tried his best to get a little bit of a rundown. Zilean flashes. We got Kaynal ulti, doesn't get the kill in the end, unfortunately, but it was quite close. And now we can start potentially sieging the enemy team. We have Caitlyn and Xerath, two good siege champions, and make the, you know, let us continue the fight, I guess. So this is a bit risky. We've got very little vision, as you can see. I go for the stun, and we have Garen. I get ulted by a Seraphine Silas ulti, so that's so far a trade. And then annoyingly, we get flash queued by a Garen, so yay, Garen. Again, not... I know that, like, in this commentary, I don't want to be too negative of Huz. You're not a fan of this, you're not a fan of that. I know that sounds kind of negative. You guys know the champions I'm not a fan of, and, like, just so happens, like... Well, I like Gragas, I just don't like full AP Gragas. I've never liked Garen, and you guys know I don't like Silas. So, just some of the champions that I'm not a big fan of are in this game. But yeah. And, yeah. Anyway, completing my second item. I am pinging Baron, by the way, because I'm like, aren't they doing Baron? Like, I would probably do Baron right now, and my jungler's just not checking it at all. So I wanted her just to kind of have a bit of a look. They're not doing it, fortunately. So she does flash out. But again, it's better to be safe than sorry. Jhin going aggressive. I just ult the Jhin a bit. Nearly get him killed, but then... yeah, his damage is ridiculous. He does have Zilean ult on top of him as well. So unfortunately, we don't end up trading there. But again, they're not doing Baron right now. To me, that's the bigger thing. Because I was nearly convinced that they were doing Baron, if I'm completely honest. So my team is looping around. They have Jhin on the back foot, but they also have a Zilean ulti. Sorry, a Zilean speed. Silas blocking that. And then the weird thing, yeah, I have no idea what he's doing. Gragas was in our territory. I have no idea. Like, genuinely, I cannot tell you why he was there. He does flash to get out. But I was very confused about that play of why Gragas was in our jungle that whole time. No idea. So that caught me off by surprise, if I'm completely honest. But yeah. So a little bit tilting, that. But it is what it is. Garen doing the split push play, as to be expected. Urgot should be matching him, but unfortunately right now he's not. Kindred doing a bit of nice damage. Seraphine gets caught out also, and she will die. And Garen is just waiting in bot lane for the tower. Oh, sorry, the wave, I guess, to get the tier 2. And still Urgot is not yet gone over to match it. Generally with Hullbreaker, just the way that they kind of cancel each other out. Again, it's where I find Hullbreaker is a bit silly when both sides are building it. If both sides are building it, then the advantage of Hullbreaker doesn't really exist, but that's the problem. Everybody's buying Hullbreaker now. So Zilean's trying to get over. He does focus on saving the Garen, but then gets one shot basically by the Kindred. Now we're going to kill the Garen, and this is really good timing, by the way. Really bad timing for the enemy team. 30 seconds until Infernal Dragon. I'm ulting just to get the Gragas low. He's very close to death. I need to land one more Q there. But yeah, the Infernal is nearly up. Unfortunately, Silas steals Urgot ulti and then gets the kill. The Urgot, by the way, yes, is 2 and 8, so he's having a bit of a nightmare of a game. But this play is definitely on. Silas, as crazy as the champion is, can go in 4v1 and still end up with a kill. Dragon is spawning, so we've got to be careful about this dragon. I decide, I don't know if we're doing it right now, so I go over to do the blue buff. And then for some reason, out of like nowhere, the Caitlyn just decides we're doing it. And I'm like, we're doing it? Okay. So I'm just going to complete the blue buff any second, and then I will make my way over to go and help. So there we go. I'm on my way. Right now, the Jhin, by the way, is higher level than me. Kind of crazy that a Jhin is higher level than me. I'm going to just walk forward. We get Seraphine ult as well. He does get Zillion ulted, and he uses Cleanse, but that does enough. That gives us the dragon, so it works. It's fine. But yeah, this Jhin... I don't know if he's higher level than me because it's a Zillion, potentially, because obviously Zillion does give XP. Maybe that's why. There is, all again, a decent amount of grouping happening. I'm not really getting any solo XP or any farm, but nor is the Sylas. I'm level 14. Sylas is level 13. Sylas is actually lower level right now than his AD carry. So I don't know if that's why. Jhin trying to go for mid lane. They do end up getting the tower, unfortunately. Kindred is being a little bit caught, but I think she's okay. But she then, for some reason, goes back in. But she will end up surviving for now. I'm going to go for an ulti. I know Zillion doesn't have ult. Jhin does flash, and that throws me off a little bit. But now we can potentially look for an aggressive charge into the enemy team, if you will. We have them a bit on the back foot. But I think they do manage to get out. Generally didn't know that Gragas could E over that, by the way. That seemed, in my mind, to be a way too wide for a Gragas E, but apparently you can. You just saw it happen. Okay, so we see Gragas here. Did get vision of that. Anything that you see on your screen is the vision that I've got, by the way. As I've put it in the bottom left, which you can't see, is only red team vision. We are thinking Baron at this stage, which I don't mind the Baron call, but I do feel we're at the stage of the game that we'd have to turn if the enemy team come. So we are just baiting. We're not fully committing to the Baron, because you're like, you know, oh, they're going to have to come and check it. Weirdly, they go over to the left, both Gragas and Zillion. I managed to hit that Q, the hitbox. I will still say, like, I like Xerath a lot. The hitbox is pretty iffy with Xerath Q. It definitely goes beyond the actual hit, like, look of the spell a little bit. Land the stun, get some burst damage, and we actually fantastic get the Zillion ulti. I do have my ulti available, so I actually let it run out. Look at the big DPS on the whole enemy team. Again, only land 2 out of 4, but again, that's still doing a lot of heavy damage on top. We also get a Caitlyn ulti that does a bit more as well, and that's going to bully off the enemy team. And we are thinking Baron, and again, lo and behold, what's the Garen going to do? He's going to ignore the fight, and he's just going to go and split push. So I decide to go just, like, deal with the Gragas. Unfortunately, I was a bit silly. I didn't have Zhonya's at the time, but I had Barrier and Flash. I could have survived that if I played it better. Right now, you can see me pinging. Guys, stop this fight. This is what the enemy team want. He's doing split push McGee play. Very fun. So, you know, ignore that and stop. Weirdly, Kindred does a bit of a troll base. Why didn't she just queue over the wall and base over the wall? I'll never know. But yeah, a bit weird. And in this, overall, we get Baron. We're going to keep Baron on a few things. Gragas flashes. Garen will get the inhib, which is pretty annoying. But it is what it is. We still end up getting the Baron, so we can try to make use of this, which is good. You know, it's not a bad thing. But it is a bit annoying that obviously Garen just abandoned the fight and went to go get an inhib. Is what he did good? Arguably, yes. Like that, you know, getting your team value in an inhib when it's not a great situation is a good thing to do. But basically, for those that are like, why don't I like the Hull Breaker? Because sometimes people like, you can say that you don't like it, but why? What's the explanation? Shut down. Meanwhile, Sylas, also, just let me show this. I'll explain in a second. But yeah, Sylas is trying to catch the Caitlyn out, you know, catch her out here. She plays this really well. So he's waiting in a bush. Like, why is he waiting in a bush? No idea. He doesn't get the burst. He then goes into a trap. Caitlyn perfectly kites him and plays that really well. But again, it shows a little bit of desperation by the enemy team. He's just literally waiting in a random bush in our jungle to try and get a pick. Weird. But yeah, just to explain why I don't like the Hull Breaker meta. I'm not a big fan of when there's defaults in the game. In general. So like last season, I didn't love mid lane. Why? Because the default playstyle was roaming. It wasn't like, oh, you can roam if it's a good idea. No, the default playstyle was roaming, and I never loved roaming. I've never loved split pushing, as you guys know. I just never have like got on with that playstyle. But now I know Hullbreaker has like the whole like, you know, it's gold efficient even if you're grouping. I've heard that, but you are wanting to split push if you've got a Hullbreaker. I just don't like how that's now the default for every top laner. Every top laner is buying Hullbreaker because it's now the default playstyle. That's what I don't like. I don't like when a more, what's supposed to be a more niche play style turns into the default play style. That's my explanation to why I don't love it. That's what I would say. Again, whether you disagree, agree, that's completely fine. But that's just my explanation to it. So item-wise, by the way, doing okay for items. Got 3 items complete. I did get bounced there, which was a bit funny. Dragon is spawning in 20. It's another Infernal. If we get this Infernal Dragon, we get Infernal Soul. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to actually say it. What you're about to witness is the reason why I pick Xerath when there's a Jhin in the game. So that is going to be the prelude, if you will, to this team fight. So everyone knows we have to team fight this because it's Infernal. He gets a nice little bouncy bounce. We're getting a bit of damage down here, bit of poke, which is always nice. And the dragon is up, so it's live. Will we risk a steal? Probably not. I think taking the fight might be better, but here we go. Garen tries sneakily to one-shot our Kindred, but doesn't manage to get it because she does Kindred ulti. Unfortunately, he does steal it. What did I do, though? I'll watch it back in a second. I do kill the Jhin. We'll watch that back after the fight. Big fight continuing. Big AoE damage. Moving forward, Sylas gets revived. He then goes down. I get the Gragas going for the Zilean. He does end up surviving. Caitlyn ult gets the kill, and we get the ace. And that is going to be the game. So just to show what actually happened in that fight with me specifically. So, let's slow it down. So, Jhin is back here ulting. I don't have vision of him, but you can see where Jhin is ulting. I am just blasting him with ult, and for some reason, Zilean doesn't ult him. Now, why doesn't Zilean ult him? We spoke about this during the stream because I looked at this replay on that as well. The Zilean speeds up the Jhin. He doesn't ult the Jhin. Why? I think the Zilean was expecting the Jhin to move. He could easily dodge my ulti if he moved with Zilean speed up. You can see the Jhin is like spamming like, whoa, why didn't you res me? And that's it. It was just a miscommunication. The Jhin thought that he was going to get ulted. Oh, I'm going to survive. I'll get my 4th shot off. The Zilean thought, oh, he'll cancel his ulti. He'll run away because I've put the movement speed on him. Complete miscommunication. So right there, that whole play with my ulti is why I pick Xerath when there's a Jhin in the game. Because Jhin ult is such a powerful ability, I can counter his ability. I can absolutely blast him from higher range, and there's not much he can do. What he has to do, honestly, is cancel his ult every time. And this one, he didn't, and that's going to give us the advantage. He, right now, if you look at the enemy comp, he is their carry. The Jhin was 12-3 at the time. He is their carry. The Sylas actually didn't do a lot of damage this game. I blasted him. He died. Enemy team completely loses the fight. We are going to go for the end there, which I will say was a bit risky. You know, the enemy team is spawning. Jhin is spawning now, but we just, boom, he's dead. And that's going to end the game. So overall, bit of a stressful game. We end up winning it. And ladies and gentlemen, this game officially got me back into Diamond 2. So today's stream, even though we had trolls, we had whatever, everything going on, the first game of the day with the Nami troll, we got demoted out of Diamond 2. And then the last game of the day, I get promoted back into Diamond 2. So overall, I'm actually very happy about that. I think, again, I've explained about the ping pong. I think I mentioned it in this video, but just to explain that very briefly at the end of this video, just to explain the concept of solo queue, what is very likely that you need to accept is, especially nowadays, where there's no promotion series, and there's not really any, back when there was promotion series, there was also like a demotion shield for quite a few games, like 3 to 4 to 5 games, if you're on 0 LP. That doesn't exist anymore because there's no promos. The way that you've got to accept solo queue to be for a while is when you're especially getting to closer to your actual rank. So let's say my actual rank right now is Diamond 1. Let's just say that. It's going to, you know, Diamond 2 is closer to Diamond 1. So you're going to be losing more games the closer you get to your true rating. You've got to accept the ping-ponging effect. So in the last couple of weeks, we were ping-ponging between Diamond 3 and Diamond 4. So we'd bounce around the area. Then eventually, if you're good enough, you may beat that, and you'll go on a win streak or whatever, and then you'll get promoted up to the next tier. So we got promoted from Diamond 3 to Diamond 4. We beat that ping pong. We then got promoted to Diamond 2. So what I'm actually accepting and understanding right now is, for a while, we're probably, in the next week or two, going to start ping-ponging a bit between Diamond 2 and Diamond 3. So this isn't probably the last time I'm going to be Diamond 3, potentially. And then what will happen is we'll hopefully start getting better and playing against better opponents and getting better ourselves, getting used to that level, having better teammates each game, hopefully, the higher rating you go. And then we should be able to break the Diamond 2 bubble, the bounce, and then we'll be able to get to Diamond 1, and then for a while, then you'll bounce between Diamond 1 and Diamond 2. You'll do that a while, and if you're good enough again, that's where we can extend and get to high Diamond 1 or even to Master again. You've got to accept, because there's no promotion series, there's no demotion protection, you've got to accept that kind of bouncing between nowadays. That's just the reality of it. But yeah, overall, we went 10, 5, 10. If I remember, I'll put the damage on the screen right now. I think we did decent damage. But yeah, I'm very happy with the end of today's stream. It was very stressful. It was a bit like, but I'm very happy that on the same day we get demoted out of Diamond 2, I get back straight into Diamond 2. And as you guys have always have heard me say for many years, I've always said Diamond 2 is the rating that I've always felt League of Legends actually truly becomes better. I've said that for 5+ years. But that is going to be it. If you guys enjoyed and you like the big Xerath ulti over the top of the Jhin to like pretty much win the game. And by the way, if you guys didn't notice, the dragon did get stolen. The Kindred did, the Gragas did steal the dragon. They got aced and we ended the game anyway. But anyway, that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed, throw a like on it, throw a comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Goodbye.